Ooh, that's sexy. How could you say no to that? It's pretty much undeniable that when it comes to human beings, one of our core needs is connecting with other people. In this case, romantic relationships. So I brought this weirdo on with me.
Nice.
So that we can talk about romantic relationships, life partnerships, and connections, and how a great one can work. Out of all of the relationships and connections that I've had in my life, this one is the most seamless, the most it just works.
It's easy.
Very easy. And so today we're going to chat about how ours works so well, in hopes that you watch this, and if you're in some sort of relationship, maybe get a little nugget of this and it might help. Tara and I met a few months ago.
We met like 6 months ago, but it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see how it is. Okay. Step one is shut down.
Step one, shut down.
Yeah, at anything. We took a walk and we decided that there were these 3 elements that we wanted to break down of how this works so well and how we really just get along and communicate so well, and how every single opportunity, every single time that something happens, that we just are like blown away at how well it works. And the first one is, before we met, we had been working on ourselves for a long time. Mm-hmm. Me personally, my face is in books all the time. I'm watching videos all the time. I'm educating myself. I'm learning about myself, what I like, what I don't like, what my quirks are, where I can improve. Always looking, how can I improve? What do you see that's wrong with me? Can you give me any constructive feedback? With my friends, my family, everybody knows that I'm always 100% open to constructive feedback, and I'm looking for ways to improve myself. Tara, how have you prepared yourself?
Well, I went to college for midwifery, so delivering babies outside of the hospital setting and learning how to be self-sufficient with creating their own emotional, energetic boundaries, and then also being able to deeply care for and curate an experience with another human being where they also feel seen and heard as well. Mm-hmm. So my midwifery training was several years of different communication styles. Most of it was nonviolent communication. Others were catecholamine, stress response, and oxytocin. So how do you lower your stress hormones and replace them with feel-good hormones? What are strategies to do that in any given situation so that you can feel safe, calm, relaxed, and then be able to perceive the situation in a way where your logic brain and your emotional brain are working with each other instead of against each other. So you're not just going in sterile with this logic brain, or you're not just coming in hot with this emotional brain. So you're really integrating both into creating this sort of toolbox of sorts where any situation that arises, you can look into your toolbox and pull out this little wrench, which is going to create some clarity with a situation. You just stick your little clear wrench in and go.
See, Tara has this really cool analogy that she's saying right now, which is having a toolbox, right? So if you are working on yourself, getting really clear about knowing yourself, knowing who you are, knowing what bothers you, what traumas you have, what fears you have, what blocks you have. Mm-hmm. Also knowing your qualities, what you're good at, what you prefer, knowing yourself, and then knowing how you communicate and interface with the world, such as, this is what I communicate well, this is what I'm good at, this is what I can do to make people feel safe, this is where I'm not good. Those things, knowing those things, in her world, she uses the analogy of a toolbox. Tools to get over and to fix the things that I know I'm not good at, or if someone else comes into my life and they're not good at something, or I need to make them feel safe, or I need to make them feel heard, I have a tool for that. And so whether it be me in the self-development space or her through midwifery and probably many other things, we have tools that we've developed before entering into a partnership so that we are prepared, we have our tools, we have our weapons ready to go at it, and we're not just entering something blindly. So once you have a really clear understanding of who you are and how you interface with the world, you have your toolbox, your tool belt, you're ready to go, you get out there, you meet a human being that you like, that looks really cute, and that makes you feel all fuzzy inside, gives you goosebumps, gives you, butterflies, and you want to connect with that person, the second thing is compatibility. And when it comes to compatibility, Tara likes to say this other analogy. Apparently she's the analogy girl.
Yeah. Can't spell analogy without logy.
YouTube.
So imagine you are a puzzle piece and you want to fit into the collective puzzle, right? The collective puzzle being the other person, the other person's, the situation. A lot of times you'll look at this puzzle piece and you'll be like, well, that could fit, but I would have to bend it a little bit, or I'd have to like contort it in a way, or slice the piece off. Have to just really jam it in there. And like, that doesn't really feel good, right? Like, it doesn't feel good to overcompensate or compromise yourself in ways where it's not serving you. Where it hurts, where you feel like you're having to conceal a part of you, where you're having to cut a part of you off that you value, where you feel like you're contorting yourself in this way to fit in somebody else's picture,
or their world,
or like a world that maybe isn't even theirs, but it's not yours.
Right.
So you're trying to contort yourself in this way to fit in there, and then like, even if you do manage to fit in there, like, you can tell that puzzle piece is not meant to go there, boo-boo.
Right.
You can tell.
And notice that she said you're trying to fit your puzzle piece in, or you'll take an X-Acto knife and cut off an edge of your puzzle piece so that it can fit. You're like, but it looks so good right there. I just want to be with that person. That will look so good, or it will feel so good.
Yeah,
so
this is the last piece to the puzzle. This is it. If I put it in, if this goes in, the puzzle's done.
And in the process of her saying that, she said, cut your puzzle piece. You're not saying cut their puzzle piece. But some people, in fact, would rather cut their puzzle piece.
Yeah.
And that might look something like forcing someone into a relationship they don't want to be in, or a commitment that they don't want to be in, or forcing yourself into a situation where there's some abuse because you think, well, hey, nobody else wants me anyway, or I'm not worthy of something better than that.
Yeah, at least the puzzle's full. At least the puzzle's complete.
Yeah, at least the world sees it like that.
Yeah.
And so compatibility, I feel, is so incredibly crucial, because if you jump into something and make it work, then it's just not gonna work. So by really getting clear on who you are and what matters to you, and then to be making sure that you're compatible with the other person, and having patience and knowing, okay, I'm gonna go into 100 of these, and 99 of them might be partially compatible, but I'm going to be okay with that. I'm going to be okay with just letting go, have this perspective of, I'm going to have fun, I'm going to enjoy this. This isn't a laborious process. I'm going to treat it like an adventure, and not being like, end goal. Where's the person? Where's the wife and husband and the house and the picket fence? Like, just whatever it is that you're looking for, don't let that be the core focus of the end goal. Let the experience be a part of it, so that when you don't find that person who's the perfectly compatible person, you don't feel like you wasted time, but you actually experienced something beautiful in the process, gained something from it, gave something to it, and now you're on this path. Up until now, way later in my life, I actually find someone that I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And I'm constantly being healed from any stuff that's built up in me. I'm being met, I'm being understood, I'm feeling safe, I'm feeling secure, I'm feeling uplifted, I'm feeling appreciated, supported, cheered on. All these things, it's magic, and it feels like a complete level up in my life. And so I think that moving from working on ourselves, the next thing is communication. So communication could be this. It could be, this is what I don't like about you. This is what bothers me about you. This is what I'm fearful of. This is what I have issues with. Or it can just be like, we come into it and we say, this is going to be easy. This is going to be fun. We're going to enjoy this. Because
the goal is essentially for each other to be happy and to feel supported. And so if you come into a conversation with that type of energy, where you don't want to cause the other person harm and you don't want to feel harmed, and if you both come in feeling like, oh, all we want is love and support and understanding and empathy, then we can talk about anything, because we're not trying to bring each other down. We're trying to elevate each other.
So as far as communication is concerned, what do you think? Like, what are some examples of some things that we've dealt with that where communication worked for us?
Well, you know, things are going to come up, right? It's not all 100% rainbows, butterflies all the time. We still have a whole spectrum of feelings, from happy to sad to anger to whatever. All of these like bad feelings, they don't go away just because you meet somebody awesome. It's just about integrating these feelings in a way that are healthy, so that they're seen, so that they're heard, so that they're processed.
Feeling seen, feeling heard.
Yeah, like to be able to process these feelings openly in a safe space. So you can't, like, anger doesn't need to take up an entire room, but it can be addressed.
They enhance your existing life. So if your existing life is depression, worry, frustration, anger, any of those negative things, they're there to be there for you. And that's one thing that is at the core of our communication, is asking, what does support look like to you right now? Because how many times have you been not feeling great and you call someone and you tell them what's going wrong, and then they're like, oh, well, you should fix it like this, or fix it like this, or maybe we can do this, and you're like, yeah. I didn't even want you to help me figure it out. I just wanted you to tell me everything's going to be okay, or I wanted you to make me laugh right now, or I wanted a solution. I wanted you to help me. Like, we need to communicate with each other what we want in that moment. And if we can get a person that knows how to do that, which we've developed, then it's really magic. Like, one time Tara was going through a really tough time. She just had like a traumatic situation happen, which happens to all of us from time to time. And I asked her, you know, what does support look like to you right now? I wanted to start coming up with solutions and things, but she said, you're out with your friend today. I have to go to work. I just want you to send me pictures of what you guys are doing. And maybe you can talk a little bit about why you wanted something like that.
Yeah, so I was just feeling really sad and very disoriented. The sadness that I felt made me feel like I lost some like touch sensations too. Like, I was kind of wandering around my room and I was touching objects and everything just felt kind of numb. And I really needed to tap back into this real world. I needed to have some feelings of things that I recognize. You know, if somebody wants to come in and create a solution for that, it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe try this, or, you know, maybe like take a bath, or you know, those are like solutions. But I didn't have time for a bath. I had to go to work. I had to like put my head back on my shoulders and tap back into reality. And for me, the best way that I could think to do that was look at things that are normal, comforting. So how do I connect back to this world that I feel disconnected from? And for me, that looked like, hey, send me photos of you and your friend out having fun, so that I can look at these people that I adore and smile and say, oh gosh, like, it looks like you guys are having a great time. The world is still spinning exactly how it always has, and even if I feel like I'm off my axis a little bit, the world still isn't. And for me, that's what support looked like
in that moment.
In a
different moment, she might want solutions, or to be able to vent, or to just be held. I have built up stuff from past relationships where things have been handled incorrectly. Maybe I was in a past relationship where I was trying to be there for someone and they neglected me in a certain way, or abused me in a certain way. I come up against a new opportunity to connect with another human being, and I could easily shut down. But this is where vulnerability comes in. Can I be vulnerable enough to not take my past situations, past hurts, past traumas, and bring them into this new thing, even though maybe for some of you, 19 out of 20 of the last ones have been abusive or traumatizing. And it's hard to do because you don't want to leave yourself open and vulnerable to be hurt again, but you want to be vulnerable enough to give the other person an opportunity to be there. And that's why I think it's so important of what we've already talked about, of working on yourself first, because there is a way to be vulnerable without leaving yourself open to be hurt.
So the only way that you're going to be able to arrive at new conclusions is to be vulnerable and give yourself the space and give yourself the opportunity to make these new memories so that you can create these new neurological pathways within yourself. On vulnerability, we were on the phone, something that Nate said, it triggered me.
What I had attempted to tell Tara was that at some point I had a desire to move back to LA. But what it sounded like to her was I had plans to move back to LA ASAP.
In this fall. And I wasn't really prepared to have to deal with how things might change. So I had two options. I could either shut down and not talk about it, not bring it up, or I could use this as an opportunity to be vulnerable, tell Nate how I was feeling about what he had just said. I was feeling vulnerable and I decided to bring it up. And I was feeling hesitant and resistant because of all of these things swirling through my head about how it would come off as being unsupportive of Nate. Or, I was turning the situation around so that it was about me and my hurt feelings.
Right,
and
because I was telling you about a dream I had and I was excited and you were feeling a bad way, didn't feel good, but you didn't want to impose on my excited moment.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that, and I thought that I'd be able to process and handle it all on my own after we finished the phone call, but I decided that not bringing it up was just not an option. Why would I just do all of the same things that I had done previously in past relationships that just didn't work? It didn't serve me. It didn't serve the other person. So why stay on this path just because I have some sort of fear of making the situation even more uncomfortable?
When that happens, right, you're like, everything's moving in the right direction. And then this monkey wrench gets thrown in and you're like, oh, this person might be moving. They're not going to be here anymore. Like, not only do I not think that I should be involved in this at all because I could get hurt, what's the point? But also...
Yeah, it's like you might as well have just moved yesterday.
Yeah. It actually makes me think of a quote, which is, easy decisions, hard life. Hard decisions, easy life. So Tara decided, I'm going to make the hard choice of being vulnerable.
Yeah, I'm going to go against the grain of what all of my past memories, what all of my past triggers have told me to not do, to try to maintain balance, to try to maintain the joy, to not bring negativity into the situation. Yeah. It's just really breaking it down to observing how I feel and what I need, which is I feel really sad because I'm needing some clarity on this situation.
And the beauty of that was, as soon as you said it, I felt empathy too. If you would have approached it in a way that would have been defensive, I would have got defensive. If she processes it internally, what happens? She probably goes, this person's moving away. You might as well have moved yesterday. There's no point to this anymore. You don't care about me. You're going to be out of my life. Why should I invest my time, waste my time? I'm getting older. By this certain age, I'm not even going to be able to find someone anymore. What's the point? And then just cut him off completely.
Right.
If she communicates negatively to me and says, oh, what, you're just going to move away? Do you not care about me? Making all these assumptions, then I get defensive. Then I say something back to her. Then she gets defensive, says something back to me. Now we're in an argument.
Spiral.
Right. But instead, she communicates to me just what she's feeling. She says, I'm feeling uncomfortable right now. I'm feeling sad. I don't know what you mean by this. And by her giving me that, then I have an opportunity to say, okay, let's stop everything we're doing. I care about you. My intention is that you're happy, that I'm happy. Talk to me. Let me understand why you're feeling that way. And then she tells me, and two things happen when she tells me. One, I understand exactly what she's thinking, and she had my best interest in mind, and now I'm feeling an extra heightened appreciation for her for how thoughtful she is. And then we have this reference experience for how amazing we can handle situations. Now we use our ego to glorify and glamorize how good we are at communication, and now our self perspective of who we are is that we do things well together. One thing that I'm feeling a little vulnerable about is that before we shot this, Tara brought up an idea. And that idea was that we talk about something and work through something that we've never talked about before.
Never talked about it.
We've never
talked about it. It's just always been a thing where we secretly sort of acknowledge that it's a
the elephant in the room.
Yeah, it's the elephant in the room, which is
Tinder.
We both still have Tinder. So I have no idea what Nate's relationship is with Tinder, with the app. I don't know how often he's on it. There's a whole world of what people do on Tinder, and I have literally no idea what Nate does on Tinder. And I don't think Nate has any idea what I do on Tinder either. We have no idea, and we've literally never talked about it. So we're gonna talk. So we're gonna talk about it.
Cool.
Fun.
Ask me a question about Tinder.
Ooh, okay. Question 1. How often are you on Tinder?
1 week I'd be on there for 3-4 times a week, and then it would be 3 weeks not being on there at all. I was very disconnected from it. I hadn't been using it. And then in the last week I've been on it every day. And I've been on that. I have thought a lot about what my Tinder situation is like since we've been together. I definitely have shifted my, I'm not looking for a life partner style connection anymore. That is filled in my life. And I genuinely don't want that anymore. That said, I still like to flirt. I still like the idea of meeting new people for friendship, but also for, potentially hookups, for, anything like that. Do I feel the need to be as active? No. This is one thing that's super vulnerable that I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I even want to say that to her because I don't want to hurt her feelings. And maybe you can tell me how this feels when I say this.
Cool.
I like to use Tinder when I'm going to a different city. So how do you feel about what I just said?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I think that Tinder's great for having a location tool because you can go and just see who's around, right? It's kind of a way to just to examine your surroundings and just kind of get a different feel or vibe for the people who are around, and it's fun. I totally get that. I don't think that I really feel an emotional reaction to that.
I feel like so many people are going to believe that that's a total lie.
It's a lie? I don't know. I mean, here's the thing is that I don't feel like I'm in competition with anybody. If Nate and I are unhappy, that's going to be really obvious, and there's going to be a lot bigger problems than some theoretical or real girl on Tinder. It's the problems that are going to arise, that are the emotions that I feel, that I'm going to feel with just him and I, are going to so far surpass that of any kind of lingering feeling of oh, what if there's this imaginary girl on Tinder that's meeting all of Nate's needs that I'm not meeting the needs for. It's that is so far in the stratosphere, an imaginary problem, as opposed to a real problem, which is we're not happy with each other. We're not treating each other well. Those are real problems with real feelings that feel terrible. And luckily, we haven't experienced anything like that.
The fear is you're going to meet someone else and they're going to be better than me. So you're going to leave me for them, and then I will be left having wasted all this time investing in you, and now I'm alone again.
Yeah, but if we're content and happy and we're communicating about how we're content and happy and full of joy and satisfied and fulfilled, then what's there to worry about? I'm not in competition with anybody, and especially with other women. I'm not in competition with other women at all, especially over the affection of a man. It's like, that is the patriarchy trying to pin women against each other, and I'm not about it. If there's some girl who is interested in you and wants to pursue you, I would love for them to, because it's up to you how you're going to respond to that. And, you know, there's no expectations either way. It just, I don't feel threatened by women on Tinder.
Okay, my turn.
Woo!
Okay. Have you been on any dates or anything at all since
we met?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. How about in the last 2 months?
No.
No. Okay. Is that because of me, or is that just because that just so happens?
Both.
Both? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if you were in a situation where you were around a guy that you were really attracted to and turned on by, would you have sex with them if you would want to?
If I wanted to?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And would that be a possibility of you wanting to?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it hasn't gotten to that point, really. I mean, I feel like once I find somebody that I really enjoy, I sort of become like unintentionally monogamous.
This is really cool, because my best case scenario for a relationship is accidental monogamy.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like, oh, oops.
It's like, yeah. Oh, I woke up one day and was like, damn, we've been together for 6 years. Have you been hooking up? You haven't? No?
Yeah, no. What does the last message in your Tinder say to somebody?
Whoa, we're going into Tinder.
Yeah, we're going in.
Oh, no. It was actually a sweet one.
Oh, cute.
See, for some reason, if I were to pull this Tinder up and the last message were like sexy or like flirty, it wouldn't really seem like an issue. But you know, a lot of people who are in like polyamorous relationships or non-monogamous relationships, they have a thing where it's like, you can have sex with other people, but you can't have a connection with other people. That's the thing, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
And so there's something to be said about like, oh, well, if it's meaningful, then there's
more of a threat.
More of a threat, because it's a threat. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, it's more of a threat because it's like, oh, somebody is emotionally tapped into this person that like, I thought I was the only one that was emotionally tapped into this person.
It says, haha, now you made me smile. How dare you? Yay, shoot me a way to contact you and I'll send a slew of subpar text. I mean, have an ultra engaging conversation where you laugh so hard you almost pee yourself, which I say a lot.
Aww. She give you those digits?
Not yet.
Oh, she's leaving you hanging. Right.
Wait to call and text people back because that makes it look like you're busy.
Right, because if you're a girl who like checks her Tinder like more than once a day,
you're needy. You must not have a life.
Oh yeah, there's just so many things wrong with you.
I feel really comfortable if the person that I'm with is intimate with other people. And it doesn't need to be regularly. It just needs like once in a blue moon, whenever, like whatever they want is what I want for them. I think that's because I don't want to trap them or lasso them or be their only experience. Mm-hmm. This is life. We're here. We will die. And before we die, we will reach an age where we're not even sexy anymore to most people. So experience that. Like I definitely know for certain that I will know this person until when I'm 70, 80, 90 years old. And that we'll be very close. Mm-hmm. And if we're living together, if we have, a family, if we're friends, whatever it is, I will be close with this person forever. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to hold this person back from a full experience of life. The likelihood of having a happy, healthy situation with those parameters is very low. it requires two people who genuinely, deeply want that, not her molding to my desire of that because she wants to be with me and that's what I want.
That's like the slicing off your puzzle piece
Yes.
to fit in.
Yeah, I'm so grateful because like my whole life it's been really hard to enter into any kind of relationship without feeling like the girl is trying to trap me. It's like, hey, I'm this amazing person, the girl. And then me going, oh, cool, I like you, and us connecting and getting to know each other and just getting this amazing connection going. That happens a lot. But at some point, it's always like, okay, now you need to forfeit your connection with every single human being that is not male if you want to continue this amazing connection. You must
Bye-bye curiosity, bye-bye experiences. Like, I am the female.
Yeah.
I'm
owned by this person. And this beautiful soul who has worked on herself so much and has the toolbox and the communication has shown up in my life and just eradicated all of these fears and these pent up little trauma like knots inside of me and given me the peace and the confidence and the safety to know that she is not conditionally here. She's here because she cares about me. And I believe that if two people genuinely care about each other, they want the best for that other person. And that they are just there for each other. So I'm really excited to do this, and I'm excited for you to have created this space.